Hey, welcome to the Razzle Dazzle Show, a podcast where we talk about our favorite video games and all things pop culture with an emphasis on our favorites. We're your hosts Jared, Mauro, and Chaz.
Hey, my name is Mauro. This is my voice. This is Mauro's voice that is attached to Mauro.
Hello, welcome. I am one of the great members of the Weeb Nation, and I hope you guys enjoy your time here.
Let us know what you think about this episode somewhere on the internet, and be sure to follow us on Instagram at Razzle Dazzle Show, on TikTok at Razzle_Dazzle_Show, and on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Raz_Daz_pod. And with all that being said, it's Razzle Dazzle time.
The Sony PSP. It is an at-home console.
It is.
But portable.
Yes, it is. So we are continuing our little mini-series of the consoles that made us. We've all done them before, except for our newest additions to the Razzle Dazzle Show, our hosts Mauro and Chaz. But today, we are focusing on you, Mauro, and the console that made you, which, as you said, is the PSP. So, just to start off, can you tell us what the PSP is? Give us like a short little, this is it.
Absolutely not. No.
Okay, moving on.
Well, actually, hold on. So, the PSP, right? Sony's PlayStation Portable is, right now, it's not like anything unheard of, but back then, to have what is essentially a portable console where you can play things other than Mario Kart and Smash and Pokemon was insane. Because everybody had a DS,
Yep.
People were familiar with the Game Boy and all that. But now you could play Need for Speed. Now you could play GTA at Walmart in the car when you're as long as you're not driving. It was pretty revolutionary. And then after that came the PS Vita, and then after that, well, nothing else really, but still. For the time, it was like the thing to have. It was like my second or third console, actually.
Okay, so you didn't start off with it. I know that one of, or if not your first game with the system is Daxter.
It was, yeah. Technically, the first game was Star Wars Battlefront 2 because it came with the PSP. But that same function, I got Daxter, and that was the first one I played. And I didn't know anything about Jak and Daxter. I didn't have a PlayStation at that time. I only had a Game Boy and a Wii. The Xbox 360 and then the PS3 came after. But yeah, I played Daxter and I loved it. I fell in love with it. And then afterwards I played Star Wars Battlefront 2 and I fell in love with it. And these were games that I didn't have access to before because I only had Nintendo products.
Yeah, so why do you care? Why did you pick the PSP for this episode?
Here's the thing about the PSP. Since I didn't have consoles back then, like I had the Wii, but there's only so much you can play on the Wii. The PSP was a way to be able to dip my toes in other games that I didn't really have access to without having to wait for like a birthday or a Christmas or something to like justify an entire home console, which I was not going to get at that time. I just was not going to be bought for me. And I was 8, so I did not have a job either. But I played a lot of it. I played a lot of games like the Simpsons Hit and Run. No, not Hit and Run. The Simpsons game. It was just it was a game that was available on the actual PlayStation and Xbox. But the cool thing about the PSP is that it had a lot of these real like games that were available on that, and then they kind of ported it to the PSP. But it wasn't like now the way that you have the GTA definitive edition games like San Andreas, Vice City, and GTA 3, which are just mobile ports that they put on I don't know if you guys were aware of this, but like the definitive edition, the way it came out on PS5, they're just the mobile ports, which are essentially just like definitive editions for mobile, which sucked, and then they went ahead and ported it over to
lovely.
Yeah, beautiful.
Oh my god.
Back then though, they actually cared about their games and their consumers. I was able to play The Force Unleashed when it came out without having a PlayStation or an Xbox, because they had the port. It had the original PS2 version of the game, because there's like 2 versions of, well, I guess 3, because there's like 1 in the DS. But yeah, The Force Unleashed had the PS3 and Xbox 360 version, and then like the lower graphics version of the game in PS2. But it's like a completely different game. It's like voiced over again completely, same voice actors and everything. Different. They have different scenes because the PSP and the PS2 had certain limitations. But still, I was able to play it and I enjoyed the absolute force out of it.
To break total immersion and to date this episode, we're recording this on May 4th. So, good pun. Nice job.
Thank you.
You really forced that in there.
It was not on purpose. I was trying not to swear, and I just had to. It worked. Testicles.
So, do you still have your PSP? The original?
No, I don't.
No,
unfortunately,
what happened to it?
What didn't happen to it, man?
Wow.
So
I'm not sure if I want to hear this story right now.
It's gonna make me cry. But here's a long list of things that happened to my PSP from the moment I got it to today. So once I did eventually get an Xbox 360, I stopped using it, and it collected dust in my closet for a while. In one of those instances, I was moving something around in my closet. I forgot it was up there, and then it fell. It with the moving, like the joystick, and I didn't really feel like fixing it because I wasn't using it. Fast forward another couple of months, my Xbox got the red ring of death, and I red ring Xbox can't play it anymore. So I went back to the PSP. I had that little thing fixed, but then the joystick was broken forever. After that, it fell 2 or 3 other times. So the back portion of it, where the battery would go, that just didn't work anymore, which sucked because that had Darth Vader printed on it, since this was the Battlefront 2 PSP.
Oh, so wow. Okay.
Yeah, it looked really cool. I know, it was white. The PSP was white, and then in the back it had Darth Vader printed in black. It was amazing. It was cool. The coolest thing I've ever owned back then. And so, at that point it had a broken stick, a crack in the screen, and the battery was held together by tape and a prayer.
Oh my God.
But it still worked. All of the games worked. I had to hold, like when I was holding it, I had to hold the battery in place with the tape, but it worked. Fast forward some time, I got some other consoles. I can't really remember when exactly this happened. I just remember that one day I walked home, and this was after me not using it for a while because I didn't need it anymore. I came home, and my sister, who must have been like 4 or 5 at the time, is the one responsible for this outrageous piece of felonious activity. Do you guys remember how the discs came?
Oh my God.
In the PSP, right? They were the actual discs. They were small, but then they had like a little plastic
protector. Yeah.
The protector, yeah, and the protector is what went inside.
Yeah, the UMD.
Every single one of them was torn open, and the disc was just out on the floor. I don't know what possessed her to do this. I don't remember what I don't even think we were fighting or anything. She was just 4. She was 4 years old, and I thought she knew better.
I have something to share, and I was waiting for later in the episode maybe, but this is the best time to share this.
Please do.
So for like maybe 2 weeks, I've had a PSP in my possession. It was during a summer, and I don't remember how old I was. I was young, maybe elementary, early middle school, maybe. My dad just gave me a PSP, and he was like, hey, you wanna... I'm pretty sure he got it at like a pawn shop or something. I don't know. And he asked if I wanted to go to GameStop and get games for it. I'm like, yeah, of course. So I think I got Ben 10 Vilgax Attacks or whatever. I know it's a Ben 10 game for it, and I was excited, So we got back home. I opened the case, and I see the UMD, and I'm like, it's another case. The game is in there. So I need to take that out and put it in the PSP. I spent 2 hours breaking that thing open and being as gentle as I could to just pop it open. I remember getting like pliers, screwdrivers. I think I cut my hands a little bit and my thumbs. And my dad was like came in when I was doing this and came into the room, and he was asking, "Are you sure you're supposed to do that?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's I need the disc, not the case around the disc." I eventually got it out. I took the disc and put it in the PSP. It doesn't work, and I'm like, the f***? I didn't find out till years later when I actually like got some fucking common sense and started learning about different consoles and stuff that was meant to be there.
Hold on. Wait a minute. You got a PSP, brand new to you, and then you got one game.
Yep.
You messed it up.
You messed it up. You tried it didn't work, and then for years you just didn't. Like, you never got another game. You never looked it up. I never played that game then?
I don't remember ever playing that game. I don't know what happened to the PSP. Maybe my dad sold it like back for money because, you know, we were not tight on that or it was tight on that at the time. I don't know where it is. I don't know what happened to it. I just remember that afternoon with it. That's all I remember. Never had another one. The only other PlayStation console I would get like is a PS3. I got a PS2 like a few years ago at a Salvation Army, and I got a PS5. You know, like that's it. That's the only PlayStation stuff I have, man. I don't know what else to say.
I don't know what to say there.
So I can understand where your 4-year-old sister, the mindset.
I mean,
you know,
well, Jared.
The train of
she
thought.
was 4. She was 4.
I might have been 9.
You might have. Okay, well.
Now, was she opening it to play?
I
don't. Or was just like, hey, I'm gonna help my brother out and take these games out of their cases and get them ready for him. You know, like
when. Well, here's the thing. I asked her about that today. She's 16 now, so it's been way longer. She's 16 now, and I asked her, and she remembers. But she doesn't know why she was doing it.
Okay.
And yeah, I think it's just that, you know how like when you're 4 years old and you see things that can be done, so you're just like,
I'm going to do it.
I'm going to do it. It can be done, so I'm going to do it. You have no concept of consequences, or you have no life experience, right? You take the fork, it goes into the socket.
I have never done that. The closest thing that I've done
You're alive.
to the closest thing that I've done to like electrocuting myself, I remember I was 6. I don't know. It was like the first apartment I remember living in. And I had my own room. It was dark. It was the middle of the night, maybe like 11. And the lamp next to me on my little nightstand or whatever is unplugged. And because I remember I tried tapping it to turn it on, but it's unplugged. And I'm like, oh, okay. I get up. I grab the plug. So it's dark. It's a dark room. And I know vaguely where the socket is. So I'm tracing it with my finger. I'm trying to stick it in. It doesn't do it. So I place my fingers and the prongs of the whatever.
Oh no!
I found the holes. I stuck it in. I don't know if I'm going to use this for the clip for innuendos, but I felt like electricity, and I'm like, ugh. I plug it in, lights on, and I'm like, I'm fine. I'm like, oh wow, that was tingly. Whoa.
Jared almost died.
It didn't hurt.
I know. That's how. But you could have. It could have hurt.
Yes.
You could have very easily just left it there a little too long and. Very glad you didn't.
I was gonna ask if you've ever talked to your sister about it. I was gonna tell you to like just call her right now and be like,
call her right now.
What happened? Tell us what happened. You know.
I'm gonna call her. No. Hold on. I'm gonna call her. We're gonna get it. We're gonna get it straight from
the source,
from her mouth.
Well, at least I know. I feel better knowing that I'm not the only person who touched the outlet now.
You're not alone, Chaz.
What's up?
Hey, Muddy. Hey, so I'm talking with my friend and with my friends. We're in the middle of the podcast right now.
Oh shit!
Yeah, we brought up we were talking about the PSP, and I brought up the story about how when you were younger, you took all of my, games and you opened them all up and just kind of left them there.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, right. So you remember that, right?
Yeah. I actually do remember going into your room and like doing that shit.
Do you, by any chance, remember why? Were you trying to maybe like help me out, or did you want to play them, or like what was the?
Dude, I'm gonna be so honest. Like, I think it was just because I was bored and you were like at school or something at the time.
Yeah, that tracks.
And like I had the marker, so I was like, oh, okay.
Oh, and you had a marker. What did you do with the marker? I don't remember that.
I remember like going through your books and like scribbling.
Were you mad at me or something?
I was not mad, okay? I just like thought it was too bland, so you know I had to help you out with it.
Okay.
A menace.
Well, you know what? Thank you, Mari. That really helped a lot. You don't mind if we use this as conversation in the podcast?
I figured you were gonna do it anyways. Yeah, sure.
Okay, all right. Thank you. Thank you for giving me audible permission, though. All right. I'll see you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
So there you go, straight from the Mari's mouth. There was no reason, no rhyme or reason, and on top of that, she went ahead and destroyed a bunch of books that I
No,
had.
there
as
was
well.
a reason. There was reason. Your life was bland. You wanna give a little spice to it.
She was bored. It was bland. Let me just. There we go. No, you're right. You're right. She did have a reason. I can no longer be upset.
Is it a good
can't
one?
say
No.
No, not at all. After that, I definitely did not use the PSP anymore. And a couple of years ago, I was already in college by this point. I found it in my mom's closet, and I tried to charge it, and I just left it charging all night. I woke up the next day. I went to class, I came home, it was still charging. I'm like, oh, this is definitely, let me try it out. Maybe I'll like order a couple of games on Amazon and see if, whatever. It just did not turn on. It did not turn on. It did not, I unplugged it, I plugged it in again, the light wasn't on, and I'm just like, whatever. So I think I threw it back in the same box. It's either still in my mom's closet or it's gone. I don't know.
Poor
So out
thing.
of the three of us, you're the only one who might still have a PSP.
Yeah.
There's a very slim chance that my mom's house has a PSP somewhere in it.
They are for me and
In
Jared,
the same
it's
house that the
gone.
same menace that I just spoke on the phone with ruined it. Yeah, that's where I left it. I am such a good owner.
The Menace might know. Ask the Menace. Ask if anything's been bland around the house lately.
Chaz,
Or just wait on like a Sunday afternoon and be like, "Hey, are you bored? Like, how bored are you?"
Oh, this curved TV is looking like it needs some color.
Chaz, have you had any interactions with the PlayStation Portable?
Yes, mine is also gone. I had mine for a short period of time. When I say short period, it was probably just as short as yours, 2 weeks. It was a gift. The first game I got was Need for Speed. Played that game, and I can't remember the name of the game. I will try to find that name for you before the end of the episode. But it was like you flew around an orange ship, you shoot stuff. It was just a very cool game to me.
Oh, so
I can't really-
a bullet hell.
I just remember my uncle came over. I was sitting on the bed of his truck, and I remember he said, "Close the bed of the truck." I closed it. I put the PSP down on like the foot railing where the tag is,
Mm-hmm.
and my mom called me to do something, and I did whatever she asked me to do, and then I came back, and he was gone. And I was like, "Hey, Unc, how far are you?" He's like, "Oh, I'm 20 minutes down I-95." And I was like, that's gone. That's not no if, maybe, because he stayed around the corner, so I was hoping it was just like me a walk around the block, I might find a cracked screen. No, it was gone. My mom walked with me like the first mile and a half.
No.
The route he took, it was not there. So it was either it was gone and destroyed on the turnpike, or it was finessed by some other person who will take better care of it than me.
I like to think that the good ending is what happened. Somebody found it, nursed it back to health, and is perhaps still enjoying it to this day.
But I did love the PSP. I did have a question for you, Mauro, since you spent a lot more time on it. Was it anything like the DS back then? I remember with the DS's, you was able to like pair up with friends and stuff.
So yeah, there were some games where you could play online or co-op, I guess. No, it was like a LAN party, I think. Yeah, it was a LAN party. You had to, was it?
Like Bluetooth connect to each other.
Something
but it
like that,
wasn't
yeah.
Bluetooth.
Like both PSPs had to be, I don't know if they had any multiplayer capabilities, but the co-op games that I played, both PSPs had to be like in the same room or in the same house or something, and you had to connect to the same network. Okay. I played The Force Unleashed like that a lot with my cousin, and there were a couple other ones, but it was mostly, if comparing it to the DS, they're two very different creatures. With the DS, I felt like, yeah, you know, I'm playing Pokemon. It's normal. Like everybody has a DS. With the PSP, I was like, oh yeah, I got a PSP. This is sleek. This is a Sony console that I'm carrying in my back pocket.
Yeah, I see here that there is something called Remote Play. It allows the PSP to access many of the features of the PS3 console from a remote location using the PS3's WLAN capabilities, a home network, or the internet. Yeah.
Okay, well, there you go. I don't know if Battlefront 2 had that, but the only one that I specifically remember playing in a LAN party like that was Force Unleashed. That's it.
I would assume Battlefront. I mean, that's kind of like the
yeah,
best thing to play on that.
Yeah, actually, it wouldn't make sense. I mean, I had a lot of fun just playing regular Battlefront. It had like capture the flag and all that stuff. Man. It had like the mission.
Dude, I've been this might be no longer relevant when this episode comes out, but I've been waiting for Battlefront 1 and 2, the new collection that recently came out. I've been waiting for that to be on sale because I do not want to pay $35 for two old games that don't have major changes. It just adds new characters, if I remember correctly. You know, like there's some new things, but not worth $35 for me. $20,
depending on when this episode comes out. I mean, you might really not. This might not be outdated, considering you'll most likely have to wait till Black Friday to do that. Which is...
Well, I mean, look,
June, July, August, September, October,
it's
November,
May 4th.
6 months away.
It's May 4th. Let me check if it's on sale.
May it be with you.
If any of the days it should be on sale, it should be today.
Oh, yeah, you're right. What the hell?
It is not on sale. It's still $34.99. What the hell,
That's
man?
not... Yeah, no, not worth it.
I'm not. Because I still have Battlefront 2 for the PS2. I'd much rather play it there.
Yeah, it's in its original setting. Get out of here.
Yeah, and like I got it for like $2 when I first found it in the thrift store. Anyways.
Yeah, that's like
tangent.
Dude, you can get like $34.99. That is almost 35 cans of Arizona, almost. Maybe 32 or 31 because of tax or whatever, but you know, that's a lot of Arizona.
Yeah.
It is not worth. I would not trade 30 plus cans of Arizona for remastered Battlefront 1 and 2.
No. I mean, it's cool that you can play as Kit Fisto and Asajj Ventress. I'm excited for
never
that.
Mind. That is completely, like, I take it all back. It's worth it. In fact, it should be more expensive.
Because, you know, Kit Fisto is my guy. But yeah, can we talk about how weird the PSP is, though? Like, yes, it allows you to play... what's the right term? More complicated games for a portable console at the time? Complicated?
Yeah. More... Well, all right, there's definitely a word. Taxing? Let's just call it taxing.
Sure, yeah. For lack of a better term. But why did they have to... First of all, the lineup wasn't all that great overall. And why... Just a universal media disc, the UMD... Why did anybody... Why? How can you call it... See, I'm perplexed here. How can you call it a universal media disc if the only thing you can put it into is the PSP? Is it universal in the terms of like games and movies? Because that's a whole big thing that the PSP tried to sell. You know, you can play movies on it. Whoop-de-doo!
I actually just saw a video on it because, you know, scrolling through YouTube, you get curious. You just start watching things, right? I was on YouTube and I was just like cool things that you never seen before, and somebody actually pulled out like the PSP game, and I don't remember what console they pulled it out of, put it into, but they took it out of the UMD. They broke the case, which made me throw up a little bit, but you know, you guys wouldn't know about that because you got to see it. I didn't get to. It was my first time ever seeing anything out of a case, and he put it into like one of the consoles, and it actually showed up on the TV. Now I can't tell you if it was real or not, because obviously I was not there.
Well, I'm sure there's like emulators or whatever, like you can plug things into to then make it work for like another thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I don't feel like that was the intended purpose anyways, because if you have to break
Yeah.
the UMD in order to
Which is hard,
Make it
man.
a-
It's
play, which is hard to do. Like, you can't open it. If it
No.
was like easy access, like, hey, pull this thing down and then the case opens, then I understand. But
gotta
that's
break
not how
it.
it works either. You gotta break it.
Oh, is it
And
really
then
that
only
hard?
to like not
Yeah.
be able to put it back in and play it in its intended way on the PSP. That doesn't make any sense.
Well, I guess I'm just lucky I had common sense not to break mine.
Honestly, yeah, I don't even.
Like,
I didn't
because-
break my.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just gonna say I didn't break mine either, but I do have this very vivid memory of walking into a GameStop, and I can't remember what game it was. It was Ben 10 Protector of Earth.
Ah,
was
it's
the
probably
game.
the same game for me. Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know. It's a Ben 10 game. I don't know. Like, I know 2 Ben 10 games, but I walked into a GameStop and I picked it up off the thing and I opened it and I saw that it was empty. Now, I had only ever gotten games as gifts before this. I was not aware that GameStop just put the case out there. I saw it was empty, so I'm like, okay, this is the game I want. So I walked up to the counter and I'm like, hey, yeah, I want to buy this, but there's no game in there. And the guy's like, oh, really? Cool. And he turns around, grabs.
Yeah, no shit, kid.
Yeah, it's like, oh, really? Damn, insane. But like, he gives me the thing, and I'm like, oh, cool. All right. Oh, this one actually, like, because it was wrapped, so I'm like, okay, this one has to have the game. Like, I shook it. I'm like, okay, this one definitely has a game. Thank you. I thought I didn't even connect the pieces at that moment. It just like came to me some other time at some other point, but I was just kind of like, yeah, there's no game in here, guy.
What are you selling?
When he's selling the box. And I was genuinely like worried that if I didn't say something to him, he would just like give me like scan the box and give it back to me with no game. And I'm
Yeah.
like, whoa, come on, dude.
There's a reason why I broke the UMD to begin with, because, you know, it's a disc. I see a disc in there, and I've already had a GameCube. The GameCube is my first system, so I'm like, oh, the GameCube has small discs that you insert to the console and then you play. So trying to follow what I think is common sense for video games, I'm like, huh, this is another small disc. Maybe I should need to take it out of the thing and it should work. No, it's just dumb. Like, why? It's a dumb concept. But like, you know, to give credit where credit's due, the PSP sold between 80 to 82 million units. For the introductory price being $250, that's freaking insane. It did all right, but I think after like a couple of years, like very early on into its lifespan, PlayStation was like, oh, we're gonna make it compatible with your computer, with the Wi-Fi and movies. You can watch shows, you can watch Family Guy on this thing. Like, they tried doing too much, and especially like with the later variations, like the PSP Go and stuff, digital only, no longer needing the complicated UMD. You have to plug this into your computer, go on the PlayStation website, buy it, and then download your games
you
to
couldn't
it.
You couldn't even access the PS Store through the PS Go, right?
No, it's
that's weird.
It's weirdly complicated.
It's like, hey, remember the UMDs that we specifically introduced to be universal and usable? That's too complicated. Try this method instead. Oh, you don't have a computer? Whoa. Whoa.
Good luck.
Don't you have friends?
Oh my god, it's a weird console. I mean, a lot of people our age, it came out in 2005, 2004, 2005. Yeah, a lot of people our age had this console, this system for a long time. My partner did. She had the God of War, the red God of War version of it.
That's the what was it called? The greatest hits one?
Yeah, I don't even know.
No, it's just that PlayStation had this really cool thing going on for a while. I mean, maybe they still do, where it's like they just like any games that did really well.
Yeah.
It's the same exact game.
Yes.
But they just like package it a little differently. It's like white and red.
Yeah.
And it just says like greatest hits on top, and it just looks cooler. That's it.
Yeah. But yeah, like it was ironically popular to begin with, but then everybody loses it as they get older.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's definitely dated, and you don't really need one. Like who would need a PSP or any type of like portable PlayStation game when all of the games on the PlayStation right now are like AAA?
Yep.
That even the Switch is having trouble adapting to.
Yeah.
Like there are some games that they tried to port over into the Switch, like The Witcher 3, that it just kind of didn't really work out the way that they thought it would.
Yeah.
It's playable, but it's already having its issues.
Yeah, but that's a hardware deal.
Exactly.
But the PSP just tried to do too much too quickly, and I don't think it really had an identity. I think the only selling point is like you can play these big console games on the go.
Yep.
But then PlayStation tried to beat Nintendo at their own game.
Yeah.
It didn't work out. I mean, now we have the Switch. Yeah, I know it's not the most like top performing console in the market. I know that, but you're still able to play amazing, beautiful, compact games.
Oh yeah,
on
absolutely.
That console, like freaking Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild.
It's literally the console where Nintendo's newest games are being released into.
Yeah.
And it doubles as a home console. So like it's cool. Like I think the Switch did everything that the PSP probably wanted to do.
Yeah, and there's a feature with the PSP where you can connect it to your TV with the wire and like play and watch on the TV, which like what's the point of it?
Exactly. It doesn't do it right. I understand what Nintendo was going. Oh, sorry. I understand what Sony was going for. Please don't crucify me, Sony and or Nintendo, because like even like I think it was the PS2 that started the whole like, oh, you can also like watch movies on this thing. So they probably didn't want to get rid of that aspect, but it was too early. Yeah. 2005 was way too early for this type of thing. And it worked though, like it did its job and everything. And I have a lot of fond memories. The reason I say that this is the console that made me was because without this console, I probably wouldn't be into video games the same way that I am today. Again, I had a Game Boy and a Wii. That's it. I played Worms World Party, bro. I played Pokemon Red. Like, what was I playing on the Switch? The Duck Hunt? I think
the Switch Duck Hunt. Damn. What kind of Switch
no, sorry.
you have?
The Wii. That's what I meant. Like, what was I can't even remember what I had on the Wii. I know I had a decent amount of games there, but I can't. Not one was memorable. Smash, I guess. Smash was memorable. Yeah, but
let's say you have Smash Bros. You have Wii Sports.
There's a lot of
Wii play.
Like, look. The Wii was good, but it's like who just has a Wii? Like anybody who only had a Wii was never going to grow up. Yes, because they don't play video games. They're not gamers.
True. That's true.
Yeah.
Anybody who grew up with just a Wii is a casual gamer. They're like, people come over. It's like, hey, let's do Wii bowling because we've had a couple of drinks or something.
Yep.
And that's exactly how I see some like people treat it. Without the PSP, that gap where I didn't have like a console to actually play, I would not have gotten into it because I had Liberty City Stories on that game. I had Daxter, which introduced me to one of my favorite franchises of all time. I had the God of War games, which is why I ended up being into God of War. I had Metal Gear Solid. Come on. Peace Walker.
There are solid games. There are solid titles on the PSP. And yeah, like you said, there's AAA titles on it that led you to discover these big franchises. Yeah. And you're like, oh, the PS3 is a thing. I'm gonna get that, or if you did, I don't know.
When it came down to it, a bunch of months later, and it was Christmas, instead of asking for, I don't know, like another skateboard or a bike or something, I wanted a PS3 because I'm like, okay, I want to play like the actual GTA games. Like I want to play the God of War games that I can't play here. I want to play online. That sounds so fun. I want to play Call of Duty. I couldn't play Call of Duty the thing. So it definitely made me in the way that, like, it wasn't the end all be all. It was not. But it was a really good starting point for an 8-year-old who was just trying, like, at that point, figuring out what he was going to be into.
You took your first step into a larger world.
I did. My first real step.
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Oh, okay. All right. It's a May 4th episode through and through, even though it's probably coming out in like August or something.
It's gonna come out like July, August. I don't know.
Type in the comments when you're listening to this podcast.
Final thoughts before we get out of here.
I really can't say anything. For me, my 2 weeks don't make me valid enough to say yay or nay or anything.
I feel like There's no reason to buy a PSP today, except if you're going down memory lane for nostalgia purposes, which pretty much like hammers home that the only people that would buy a PSP today are people who owned it at some point in the past. It did its job back then. I feel like it was definitely a console for children. Maybe
if I had
teens,
to be honest
but,
with you,
yeah.
I have a Switch currently.
Well,
If I had a PSP, like right now, fully functional, I will play the PSP over the Switch.
Huh.
Because I just prefer the games on the PSP.
Well, that's fair. Well, you also have like a PS5, so.
It's not even plugged in right now. You don't have to.
Oh, no.
Okay. What about you, Jared?
I'm never gonna get a PSP.
Yeah, no need. Okay,
Like,
well, that's it.
Well, I mean,
Console
Yeah. That reminds me. Also, I got the name of the game for you guys.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a weird name. It's a weird name.
It's called.
It's Platypus.
Platypus.
What?
Okay. Just literally, if you can't look it up right now, just PSP.
Platypus video game. It's
Platypus.
okay.
Yes. And then you're your ship, you shoot, you upgrade your ship, you get to shoot different like type of way. It's like a mobile game.
It's
Nowadays-
a side scroller with an orange ship.
It's
Who
a
made
bullet hell.
this? What is this?
But I tell you, like for my 2 weeks, I was head over heels for this game. Like, don't get me wrong, I love Need for Speed, but this was the game
You're
I
not-
was sneaking to play when my mom told me to go to bed, and
When
there's a
it-
white line coming from the bed.
When you look it up under developers, it just has somebody's name,
Yeah.
Anthony Flack, and then Squashy Software afterwards. I've never heard of any of this.
There's no
That's like the-
platypus.
Is that the only game it has?
There
No,
are-
it has another game called Bert the Barbarian. That's cool. Squashy Software Company, and then it's Platypus is the main. Okay, I mean they definitely. It is a mobile game now. At some point it was iOS, Symbian, Windows Mobile.
It has a sequel. There's a second game.
Oh, there's the Platypi.
Anyways, I'm glad the PSP. Like, I don't want to make it sound like this entire episode we've been shitting on it, Mauro. I know it's important for you. That's why
We
we're
actually
here talking
haven't.
about
We
it.
waited until 40 minutes in to start shitting on it.
You're right.
When you started, yeah.
I'm gonna have to call.
That's like a new personal record for
I'm
us.
gonna have to call false on that because I could have sworn like 20 minutes ago when Jared was telling us all about how much they sold, and then right after he said how well it sold,
Oh,
literally
you
said
know
it's a
what? That's true.
disappointment.
That's
You
true.
literally said that right after.
So let's say like 25 minutes in.
Yeah.
Halfway into the episode.
That's still good. That's still good.
That's still
We're
really good. No, I'm glad that the PSP has a special place in your heart, even though it's still in a not so special place in your mom's house.
Well, it's not like it works anymore, so
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I mean, what am I
it's a
going to do? It's a
paperweight.
piece of. It's a yeah.
It's a paperweight.
It's a brick now.
But like we all start somewhere with the things that we love, and this was your stepping stone to, like I said, a larger world into the world of video games and all the stuff you like now. So without the PSP, if you never had a PSP, you could be a completely different person.
Yeah, I genuinely would have. I don't think I would have glasses for starters. Probably
Were you
myopia
one
probably
of those
wouldn't have
kids?
creeped as much. What?
That like has their eyes the screen like
No,
this close?
no. I have myopia. It's genetic. It was a joke.
For everybody who
God.
doesn't know that,
It was a
Jared was
joke.
holding your phone like 2 inches from his face.
What are you talking about?
If it wasn't for the PSP, you wouldn't be who you are today, and I like who you are today. So thank you, PSP.
Thank you. Thank you, PSP. Chaz, thank the PSP. Chaz.
Refuses.
Yeah, there he is. I hear him laughing. I was about to go up to bat for you too. I'm like, oh, he got up and got food or something.
No, I didn't get up to get food. I'm not happy with PSP.
You just said like 5 minutes ago that if you had a PSP today, you would play that over the Switch. What do you?
Yeah, but then I'm about to put an Apple tag in it because I wish they would have had tracker so I can get my PSP back.
Oh my god. That's your uncle's fault. Well, actually, that's your fault.
We're gonna call it a group effort, okay?
No.
Because my mother
No.
wouldn't distracted me, I wouldn't have put it down, and if I wouldn't have put it down, my uncle would have never drove off away. Like,
Why
with me
didn't
not
you?
near
Why
the
did you
truck.
put it down outside on a truck? You should have just taken it with you inside.
Team effort. Team effort.
Oh my
It kind of doesn't track, honestly.
TLDR, make sure you're taking care of your consoles, kids.
Yeah, honestly. That's it. Couldn't have said it better myself. Bye.
All right, that's all the time we have for today, guys. Thank you so much for joining us on another episode here on the Razzle Dazzle Show. Please let us know what you think about this episode somewhere on the internet. And make sure to follow us on Instagram at Razzle Dazzle Show, on TikTok at Razzle_Dazzle_Show, and on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Raz_Daz_Pod. Be sure to leave us 5-star ratings and a nice little written review down below, and we'll catch you on the next one. Next time on the Razzle Dazzle Show.
The thing that's crazy about it to me is, like, I used to think when I was like 20, 25, when I was doing the same job, same exact job. Like, I thought I got to do as much stuff as I possibly can. I have to throw as much shit at the wall as possible because it's always changing. The algorithm's always evolving. And I'm finding as I get older that that's exhausting. And it's, you know, if you look at my career now, and what I'm doing, I'm sort of like saying, F that, and just kind of like trying to like close it and narrow it.
Yeah.
And hone myself. And so I feel like you could look at that song or any song like that, like a perfect 2.5 minute rock pop song like that, and you could say, you know what, on the one hand, this is like light ephemeral horseshit, but actually, if you care about it and you look at it deeper, there's more to it and there's more nuance, and as intangible as those things are, they're very like effective. I always use the Egg McMuffin as a good example of this. There's something about a sausage McMuffin with egg, right? That maybe with a little hot sauce on it, that like transcends the like absolute like capitalism like grease fart of a thing that it actually is. There's something beautiful about it. Maybe you're gonna have 2 of them. There's something seductive about that delicious little perfectly designed breakfast sandwich with that crappy sausage patty, because somebody somewhere sometime had a good idea and made a sausage patty, or made, you know, it's simple, it's trash, it's absolute shit.
It's not good for you at all.
No, but because somebody thought about it, they made something amazing. That's it. That's it. That's the thesis.
Yeah, where would we be without the fundamentals, without the baseline, without the foundation of anything for anything that needs a structure or has a structure? If you don't have the basis of it, then it's not gonna work, you know?
Effort and context.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I personally like to put some honey on my McMuffins and stuff like that. So
the McDonald's honey is also wild. That's some good stuff.
Yeah.
There's something weird about it. Some people put the jelly on the McMuffin too. I don't know.
Tune in next week.